Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about how to write a winning supporting statement for the NHS on either NHS Jobs or TRAC. So we'll be using real life examples explaining to you what a supporting statement is, how to structure your supporting statement, sample walkthroughs, and the tips to make a very strong supporting statement. So if this is what you want to know or this is what you want to learn, come along to this video and we'll talk about it. At the end of this video, you will learn how to structure your supporting statement perfectly using the person specification and the job description, because these are the two things that you need when you're writing your supporting statement. A lot of misconceptions are out there on how best to structure the supporting statement, but here I'll be breaking down all the jargons so that you know exactly what you need to put in your supporting statement. Just so that you're confident in this video, I've worked in the NHS for the last 10 years and I have over 20 years experience working in HR. So when I explain to you what is required for a winning supporting statement, you need to understand that I know what I'm talking about. I've sat on interview panels, I have shortlisted from TRAC and also NHS job. So I know what the recruiting manager is looking for in that supporting statement. With my help, you'll be able to take your supporting statement from being rejected to being the right candidate chosen for that interview. I really want to help. Hence the reason why I'm putting out all this video, so you can know exactly the right things to put into your supporting statement. Did you know that if you don't write a perfect supporting statement, you would never get shortlisted? Supporting statements are the most important part of your NHS jobs application or your TRAC job application. So getting it right is the most important thing for you when applying for a job in the NHS. Supporting statements are being used as your CV to ensure that you explain yourself properly. Supporting statements are the biggest hurdles of you being rejected or picked to be coming for that interview. I would definitely want you to be part of the prospective candidate that are being picked. If you follow my blueprint, you would ensure that you are taken from being rejected to being picked for that job interview. 2025 is the year we get into the NHS. So what is a supporting statement? A supporting statement is your ability to showcase your skills and how best you match the job description and the person specification. Having the right skills and not explaining it properly on your job application on TRAC or on NHS job would not let you get shortlisted. You might be the perfect candidate based on your qualifications and your skills, but you're not explaining it properly using the supporting statement information section to explain to the interviewer or to explain to the shortlisting manager that you're the best candidate would never get you shortlisted. So you need to know how best to structure your supporting statement when writing it for your NHS jobs or TRAC jobs. One thing you need to know with regards to applying on TRAC or NHS jobs, the supporting statement bit the supporting statement bit is there to showcase your skill. So it's really about telling a story and putting yourself out there. This is so much different from your CV that you just put in your jobs, duties, and whatever you've done. The supporting statement takes it a bit further for them to be able to know the kind of person that they're going to be interviewing for that role. It is your first dance into trying to get your job in the NHS. I'll be using my laptop to be able to help me ensure that I don't miss out any of the points that I need to pass across to you today. I'll be able to explain to you how best to structure your supporting statement so you are picked as the candidate to be invited for the interview. Structuring your supporting statement, we're going to be using a 4-part method to be able to structure your supporting statement properly. The first part will be the introduction. This is telling us who you are, why you're applying for the job. Then the middle part would go through the person specification point by point. I've always said to everyone that comes to me for one-to-one coaching that I would like for them to be able to tackle each of the person specification one bullet point at a time. So that means if they've asked you, do you have a qualification in this? You need to ensure that you're writing about that question. It doesn't matter if it's on the essential part or the desirable part. I always tell you, make sure that you are answering each of those bullet points in your supporting statement. This is the middle part of the supporting information. Then the next part is we're going to be going through STAR example, using your real experience to evidence your skills. Although that the STAR examples you're going to be giving here would be straight to the point, quick and simple in plain English, you need to be able to know how best to structure those STAR answers when you're explaining your skills and expertise when writing your supporting statement. And the last part is the closing bits of things is why are you the right fit, plus your commitment to the NHS values. If you watch my previous videos about answering questions and answers for NHS interview questions, you would have seen that I talked about aligning your answers to the NHS values when you're answering it. We want to see how you're committed to the values of the NHS when we are reading your supporting statement. So there will be questions about your integrity, your commitment, and all that with regards to ensuring that you're listing them and explaining them as being a part of who you are for the supporting statement. When writing your supporting statement and trying to answer each of the bullet points for the person specification, there will be questions about, say, teamwork or communication skills. In a way, you can quickly do a STAR answer for that one. You need to explain it as quickly as possible of how you've worked together as a team, when there was a problem, and what the result was. So you need to be able to give a quick STAR answer. I will say maximum of 3 lines for that kind of answer for your supporting statement. They would also ask you about your communication skills. You will need to be able to give an example of managing diaries, of rotas, of patient appointments, of speaking to patients, of being able to give clear instructions. Those kind of answers is what we want to be seeing in the supporting statement. Another tip is you will need to ensure that you're using your NHS values to be able to explain yourself. So when you're giving your answers, you need to talk about respect. You need to talk about compassion. You need to talk about your commitment to quality. You need to talk about your advancement in terms of your contribution to the NHS, your empathy. Those are the kind of things we want to be seeing in your answers. A tidbit that you need to ensure that you're avoiding is generalizing or saying we in your supporting statement. You need to personalize it and say, I did this, I achieved this, when I went to do this, when I communicated. You need to make sure that it is personal to you and not a team effort. We don't want to see the team effort. We want to see your contribution of what you've actually contributed to ensuring that what we're asking from you in the person specification, you can actually do it on your own. In as much as you will need a team to work around, we also want to see what you've actually done. You need to ensure that you're not giving vague answers when you're writing your supporting statement, like saying, I'm an ad worker or I understand it. No, you need to give real examples. When you're explaining how much work you put into it, you need to explain to us what you've actually done. You need to give them examples of how you've been working hard, how you've shown your communication skill by going above and beyond. That's the kind of things we want to be reading in your supporting statements. In writing your supporting statement, you need to make sure that it is clear and concise. You have a maximum of 1,500 words for TRAC jobs. When I'm seeing supporting statement that is 600 words, 500 words, I know you haven't written properly. You're writing at least 1,300, 1,400 words in that supporting statement box. Then I know that you have written properly. I don't necessarily want it to be filled with a lot of holes or filled with a lot of fluff. You have so much words that you need to actually even start cutting it down and ensuring that you're able to fit into that 1,500 words for TRAC. But if it's an NHS job, they tend to give you more allowances in trying to explain yourself. In this section, I would always want you to go above and beyond if you're applying on NHS jobs to ensure that you are able to fill in those boxes and explain yourself properly, giving you an ability to put yourself forward as the right candidate that needs to be shortlisted for that role that you've applied for. We'll be looking at a sample supporting statement shortly. I wouldn't be going through each box, but I'll be giving you pointers as to what is expected from this sample supporting statement when it is written down. I said to you, we'll be looking at a sample band 5 mental health nurse application so that we can look at what is expected for you to be writing in your supporting statement. We'll be using this community mental health nurse application for the purposes of this video to go through the supporting statement and how it really should be written. Looking at this job for the community mental health, we'll look at the job in terms of the job overview. They're looking for a mental health nurse to join a supportive and well-established community mental health team to deliver a high standard of care for adults over the age of 65 in the community. This is the advert for the role. They're talking about the organization, what the organization is about. Then it goes on to then give you a detailed description of the job description and main responsibility. Then it goes on to talk about the person specification. This is the main part of what your supporting statement has to entail. So these are just kind of like a snapshot of what it is. At the bottom here, it talks about the job description and person specification. So if we go into it, it gives us a very good understanding of what the job description and the person specification. It breaks down the summary of the job role, your core functions, your communication and relationship skills, what you need and the kind of people that you'll be communicating with, your analytical skill, planning, and all that. It talks about the role better detail than what was written in the job adverts. So you need to make sure that you're reading this properly. All these parts would be part of what you need to use to prepare for your interview, but that's a different video. Then we'll then get on to the person specification. You can see from this person specification, it is very detailed in terms of what they're looking for. So we're looking at the qualification and knowledge. We're looking at the experience and your skills and competence. So in terms of the person specification, what they're asking for a band 5 nurse is for you to be able to meet the criteria of the essential criteria. The desirables are the good parts that you would be good for you to have, but not really essential as part of the role. And they've already told you how it's going to be assessed as well. You also will be judged on this person's specification in the interview, and also formal qualification and certificates as well. It's an essential part for you to have. So you need to ensure that for the qualification and knowledge, you're writing it properly in your supporting statement. In terms of the experience, they'll be looking at your application form. In terms of the skills and competencies, they'll be looking at it in your application and also in your interview. So those are the areas that you will be judged on: your experience, on your skills and competence, and on your qualification and knowledge. But we need to ensure that we get through the first stage of getting shortlisted for the job. After going through the description and person specification, we'll then come back into this one. I haven't done all the parts of this application. What I've done is go to the supporting information section, which is what we really need in this video. So I've gone on there to write out a sample answer of what I would expect to see in your application form when I'm scoring you if I'm shortlisting for this role. I've broken it down into different sections based on what was in the person specification. So I've done the qualification and knowledge, I've done the experience, I've done the skills and competence, and I now gave you values and personal qualities as well. That kind of shows you what I am about. Even though you don't really specifically ask for it in this job application, I thought it would be a good one to add to this one. In terms of the qualification and knowledge, I would suggest that you pause it, even though I'm going to try and read out some bits of it for you. I talked about, so this is what I would like to see in your supporting information, talking about every aspect of what has been asked in the person specification. I talked about that I'm a registered mental health nurse with a current NMC registration, having completed my degree in mental health nursing. Before qualifying, I worked for several years as a band 3 and band 4 healthcare assistant in mental health services, which gave me a strong foundation for my nursing career. I understood the role of community mental health nursing and the responsibility that come with managing a caseload. I know how important it is to balance patient needs, prioritize effectively, and work within policy and professional framework. I am confident in applying my knowledge of the Mental Health Act, Mental Capacity Act, Safeguarding, and NICE guideline to my daily practice. I am willing to undertake mentorship training to support students and junior staff. I am committed to continuous learning. I keep my knowledge up to date through CPD, mandatory training, and reading around current policies and legislation. I also understand how mental health services fit into the fully integrated mental and social care system, and how working across agencies improve outcomes for services. That's just a brief explanation of me answering the qualification and knowledge. This part touches on the essential and the desirable parts of the person specification. I have merged everything together to ensure that it is clear and concise when the person I shortlisting this role is shortlisting it. I have covered every aspect that has been requested, especially the essential parts in the job description. Then I move on to talk about my experience. I would suggest that you pause this video to be able to read everything, because if I keep reading out everything that has been written in this person specification, this video will be really long, and I don't want it to be too long, because I definitely want you to be able to get the right information from this video. You can pause so you can see how I've answered the question. This is how I want you to start answering the questions of the supporting information in your NHS jobs and your TRAC jobs. But this application is for TRAC jobs, and in NHS jobs you might find it a bit different in terms of the styling, but it's still the same thing they're actually looking for. The values and personal qualities is an extra part to show the shortlisting manager who I am. So this part I just added it to make sure that I've covered every aspect of the job, because even though I've titled it values and personal qualities, it's part of the thing that has been requested as part of the skills and experience for the roles. I said to them that I am motivated by my passion for helping people with mental health needs to live safe, fulfilling lives. My colleagues describe me as approachable, calm under pressure, and positive in my attitude. I believe in putting patients at the center of everything I do, and I am committed to working in a way that reflects the TRAC's values of caring, learning, and growing. I care deeply about recovery-focused practice, always looking for ways to support service users to have a choice and control in their care. I learn continuously, reflecting on my practice, taking feedback on board, and using evidence-based approaches. I'm also ambitious to grow as a professional nurse, to develop my clinical expertise and support the development of others. In summary, I believe I meet all the essential and many of the desirable criteria for this role. My combination of experience as a Band 3 and Band 4 healthcare assistant, my professional training as a registered nurse, and my values-driven approach to care make me well suited for the Band 5 community mental health nurse post. I would welcome the chance to contribute to Humber Teaching NHS Foundation Trust and support services, users and carers to achieve a positive outcome. You see how I've been able to bring in part of NHS values and the values of the organization as well. Even though they've not directly asked for it, I'm putting it out there to let them know that I've read the adverts, the organization. I've read about what they're actually looking for in the job description. So there you have it, a very brief write-up for the supporting statement. I hope you're going to be able to use this to apply for your next role. Please remember that your supporting statement is your ticket to get invited to that interview. So you need to make sure that it is strong. You need to make sure that there is no spelling mistakes on there. You need to make sure that you're not capitalizing writing your supporting statement. You need to avoid a lot of mistakes in writing that supporting statement. I've done the previous videos of what you need to ensure that you're not doing when you're writing your application form for TRAC or NHS job. I'll link that video somewhere in this video and also put it in the description for this video, so you can easily refer back to it to be able to read it, ensure that you're not making any of those mistakes when you're writing your NHS application or TRAC supporting statements. There you have it. Drop your band in the comment section and I'll try and help you to create a tailored supporting statement in my next video. If it's something that you need help with, let me know, leave a comment for me and I'll try and help you as best as I can. Just a quick note, I offer one-to-one coaching where I help people write perfect supporting statement where they've gotten shortlisted for jobs where they haven't been able to get shortlisted for jobs. So if it's something that you're interested in, leave a comment or email me. I'll leave my email in the description, and also I'll probably put it somewhere in the screen here for you to be able to email me, and so we can work together. I do things from writing supporting statements to interview tips and tricks. I help people with writing and crafting the best supporting statement, interviewing, ensuring that your NHS jobs or TRAC jobs are perfectly aligned to see recruiting manager wants to see. If it's something that you need help with, drop me an email, drop me a comment here, and then we can take it from there. Until next time, where I bring you more tips and tricks on acing your jobs in the NHS. NHS is the best place to work. So I want everyone to be able to come into this wonderful organization and work there. So if you do need help, let me know. But don't forget, like, share, subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care. Bye.